very sorry, but we have to continue because we have some great people coming onto stage. And here's Fabienne Herlaut of Ecomobilité Ventures, one of the smart green women in the business, presenting the fund, and she's looking for startups in the sustainable mobility sphere. Yes. And the stage is yours, and here's your clicker.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, very good. Thank you, Jan. It's my I feel a little bit like Madonna on stage. Thank you for being here. I know it's difficult to come back with such a shiny day and just after lunch, so I will try to keep you awake. I was also happy to be here because I was not aware that the clean tech business or the clean tech environment was such a male-driven environment. We've seen no women on stage this morning, very few this afternoon, and probably one tomorrow. So it's about time we work for parity in this business as well. This is about it. I will move to the topic of interest. So Ecomobilité Ventures, I am the founder and managing partner, and I'm here to share with you why was Ecomobility created, who we are, and why should entrepreneurs, and there are a lot of them in this room, and a lot of them already contacted me, why should you come and talk to us? Ecomobilité Venture comes as the follow-up of an experimentation that was started by SNCF. SNCF, as you know, is the French public railroad company, the competitor of Deutsche Bahn. And SNCF launched in 2008 a corporate venture fund called Ecomobilité Partenaires. It was a 15 million euro fund, fully dedicated to mobility. I was in charge of creating it after having spent a year at the executive committee of SNCF, and telling SNCF and telling my peers that I thought our commitment to sustainability was insufficient and that we were lacking new ideas, innovation, and that we had to do something to open up. And this is how this idea of a corporate venture fund came to SNCF. It worked so well that after 18 months, I had invested 50% of our equity, of the equity that has been given to me. And then I started to freak out. I said, look, my plan was not to stay for only 18 months in charge of this business. I have to find a solution. And the solution was looking at the market. Look at the market. After 3 years having interfered with startups, having interfered with other investors, having interfered with other corporates, I started to realize that, yes, the mobility market was changing and was changing very, very fast. And we could not perceive it, on our daily basis, because we are dealing with individuals' habit. And when you start dealing with behavior, it takes a long time before you start to see changes. Nevertheless, a lot of signals were telling me that things will be different in a few years from now. Technology, emergence of new players. There was the limit or the frontier between public transportation and private transportation was moving, was evolving. You didn't know where one ended and when the other was starting. And of course, and as an illustration just for you to realize what SNCF had in mind at this point, one fear for SNCF, and this is where we see new players, was that Google is now its main competitor. Why Google? Because Google can organize a trip from point A to point B, take care of your customer, take care of the customer, know who the customer are, and just come to SNCF and say, look, I am going to buy you a train ticket. You don't know whom I am going to sell it to. You sell me the train ticket. So this is really frightening to us, and this is where we see new players coming to the market. We also see new trends in behaviors. And I think we have talked about these new trends earlier this morning. So this move from ownership to usage. And as you know, most of the young generation now doesn't want to own a car anymore. 10 years ago, it was a sign of status to own a car. Now it's a source of major problems. And of course, ecological and economic constraints are reinforcing this need for changes. So with that in mind, it was easy for me to convince SNCF that the next fund, the next corporate fund, will have to combine different competencies, different strengths, different expertise. And this is how we came up with this combination of 4 major players: Orange, providing the information technology skill; Peugeot, providing the car manufacturer skills and the quote-unquote private transportation view; Total, as an energetician and energy company; and of course SNCF with the public transport view. And what was striking as we started talking and exchanging and trying to build the project together, it took us 18 months, just to let you know. We took us 6 months to share the vision, and then it takes our lawyers 1 year to come up with a shareholder agreement that would fit everybody's need. Just as a joke, we have a board member to make the conseil d'administration, the strategic committee is making decision as far as investment. It is not only the management team, it's a shared decision. We have 8 representatives from our shareholders, 2 for each of them. And I'm just mentioning that because it gives you a sense of complexity. SNCF has 2 members with 3 votes, and the other guys have 2 members with 1 vote. Just because SNCF put 50% of the money and the other guys put the other 3. So it was very complex to put together. But we came up, we finalized the project because we share the same vision. As I say, mobility is changing, and we will succeed because technology, which is a must to drive changes, is now there, is now here to help us make these changes, hence the role of Orange. You need a lot of money to make things change. I was struck to see the changes in the amount of money raised by companies in the ecomobility market. In 2008, 2009, the guys would come to me and asking and begging for 200, 500,000 euros. Now you're talking more 5 to 10 million euros. You are moving to more professionalism and to a real desire to make things change. What we bring also, and this is critical when you start talking with individual behavior, we bring a ground for experimentation. We are moving from large-scale experimentation. We are moving to, I'm going to create a car-pooling company in the middle of nowhere in France where 10 different persons will interfere to share their cars. And basically, they don't know a car-pooling company to do that. They can carpool individually, to something where you have million users starting to use a system to get connected. And this is new. This is not totally working in the sense that the number of trips, the number of users is not sufficient, and you cannot see the impact today on the congestion of the traffic, but this is moving forward. So a few words, following this vision of the market, we created this new fund, 30 million euros. We don't like to call us a fund, as a matter of fact. If my 4 shareholders were to hear me, I would be hardly beaten. We are an investment company dedicated to mobility. We're not a fund. 30 million under management, and it makes a difference to us because our vision is an industrial vision, much more than a financial vision. This is how we want to differentiate from the existing players. Not that we don't need financial financier, but we want to think that we are different and that we bring something new and something more. We started in November 2011. As I say, we differentiate because we have access to business expertise. I mean, we give easy access to business expertise to our to the company in which we invest. I resigned from SNCF to create my own management company. And there's a very small team of 3 professionals with Edouard Combet, he is here with me today, and there's another young man taking care of the office in Paris. So a very small team, but it's normal, we are very small, very little money. Our sector focus is, if I want to go into more detail, or more specifically in the type of projects we would be looking for. Directly related to transportation, we're talking about services, product, and technologies. Services, you all know what I have in mind. It is the carpooling, car sharing, taxi on demand, so carpooling, B2B, B2C, peer-to-peer. I don't know the type of acronym we are going to invent, but I'm sure other things will come. So different way to mutualize the usage of your car so that there is more people in a car and less car on the road. Today, as you know, there's about 1 to 1.2 person per car per drive. So there's room for improvement. New vehicle, new technology, especially all that allows you to build your trip using your smartphone, to know how to move from point A to point B, optimizing your trip, getting access to real-time information, easy ticketing. One barrier to easy transport is ticketing. Have you noticed how often you have to change how you pay for your trip? If you had a single pass, a single card to pay for all your trip, wouldn't your life be much easier? And things are moving in this direction. Smart infrastructure, of course. We have one example outside, but there are many more on the market. Parking opportunities. One way to solve congestion in the center of the city is to deal with the parking issue. And last but not least, environment related to transportation or services and consulting. Our scope is Europe, not limited to France, as was the case for the previous fund. We invest between 1 and 4 million. We can start lower, because I realized when I made my first investment, being new in the VC market, I realized that when you finance a startup, not only do you have to put money the first time, but then they come back to you and ask for the second time, and then for the first time, third time. So you have to keep some reserves before you put all your money into the project. So I was not aware of that the first time. I put all the money up front, and was interesting to follow. We are always minority stakeholder, between 20 and 30%. We want to have a seat on the board. We want to be active in the way we work with the management. How is our deal flow? What is our deal flow made of, and how do projects come to us? 50% of the projects are being sourced by the team itself, by going to forum, presentations, you name it. 25% of the project are being sourced directly. In other words, entrepreneurs who call us, write us, and say, I have a project, I want to share it with you. And the last source of projects, which is the most powerful and the most reliable, is the project brought to us by our shareholders. Why do I say it is the most powerful and most reliable? Because they are always very focused, and they always correspond to a project or a company or a technology or a product that our shareholders would want to invest in. So it's very interesting to see how they get motivated to bring new projects. In terms of split of the project across different sectors, two main areas, transportation services, so the carpooling, car sharing, and smart infrastructure. Smart infrastructure is all the smart metering I've been talking about. Now, just as a conclusion, why should entrepreneurs come to us? What do we bring them? What do they bring us? I know that there is always a fear for you entrepreneurs when you come to a corporate VC. They want to talk to me or they want to invest in my company because they want to kill me. They want to pump my brain. They want to do a lot of nasty things to me. And at the end of the day, you don't want to come. Well, 5 minutes is not enough to convince you that I hope we work differently. What we bring you besides money, but money is not what's most important to you. What really counts is the access to a market, is access to expertise from our shareholders, is a behavior that we develop in terms of respect, to respect yourself and to respect your integrity and make sure that I work as a buffer between the corporate who wants to pump their brain and you who need to bring new ideas and develop new ideas and convince me that this works, and to make sure that there is a very strong wall, a very thick wall between what you share with me and what I tell my partners. To our shareholders, to our limited partners, well, we bring energy, you bring them energy, innovation, reactivity. At the end of the day, you bring them financial, you bring them. We both receive financial returns, you because you as entrepreneur and us as financial. And we believe that if and only if we give you access to market and to our expertise, and if we do it well, then there's no reason in this changing market that your company will not succeed. The only reason why it would not succeed, but it is your responsibility, is daily management. I'm not involved, I don't want to be involved in daily management. But I can put around you all the support that you think you need to make your company a success. There's 2 minutes left for questions.
Bless you. Do you have a question? Jan Mouchon wants to have a microphone here in the front.
Maybe I can speak loud.
No, you cannot. Wait for the microphone.
Thank you.
We are recording.
Thank you, Fabienne. I would be interested in knowing what are the companies you financed, the portfolio companies. You have like one slide.
So far, because we started in November 2011, we have not financed any company in the Ecomobilité Ventures fund. In Ecomobilité Partenaires, so the first fund, we have one project in car sharing, and this company is one where I put all my money up front, is now making about 1 million euro. And it has equipped Nice and La Rochelle in partnership with Veolia for the autopartage in Nice in Veolia. It's becoming not too successful, it's too early to say, but I think it's moving in the right direction. We have a carpooling company, number 2 on the French market and leader on the B2B market. We have a very strange electric vehicle, one seat in front, one seat behind. No. Lumineo. It's struggling. I must say it is difficult for startups in the electric vehicle now that you see EVs coming from established car manufacturers. I mean, they had a few years ahead of time, but now they have lost this timing advantage. I invested in a photovoltaic company, which happens to be very successful. It is maybe strange in the context of the French market, but they are very successful. I have a social investment, a company developing guiding system for blind people, transforming visual signals into audio signals. And I have a company in the last mile logistics, a competitor to La Petite Reine.
All right. One more question for Fabienne Herlaut. Okay, thank you very much for your contribution.
Thank you, Jan.
Thank you very much, Fabienne.